Yo, welcome to Azzadous Studios. In this video you're going to learn how to make this preset. Welcome to the first episode of Sound Design Sunday. Today we're looking at Serum and we're going to start off relatively simple with this pad that I've conveniently named Simple Pad 1. So to start off we're going to initialize the preset. So we've got the start state of Serum. So the volume's a little bit loud there. What we're going to do is take the master down. About 56, 57, that's fine. So to start off, we're going to go to Oscillator 8 and we're going to choose PWM Juno. We're going to add some unison to this to fatten up the sound. So what unison is doing is duplicating the sound basically and pitching it up and down either side of the original sound. So as you can see, what we've got here is the yellow line in the middle is the sound that is bang on pitch, and the green lines either side are just out of pitch to detune it, and you can choose how much you want to detune using the detune knob. So as you can hear, the more you raise the detune knob, the more detuned it is and the less nice it's sounding, to be honest. Sometimes you might want to do something like that depending on how you want it to sound, but for this one we want it still sounding quite musical. So we're going to use quite a low detune just to fatten up the sound a bit. So maybe about 0.06, 0.05, that's fine. What we're going to do with the blend is we're going to take down this detune, and so we haven't got too much of the effect in. So about 72 is nice. If you take too much out, it kind of loses it. I think it's sounding nice like that. So phase and random, we're not going to use these. I'm just going to leave them as they are. Basically what they do is the phase will allow you to choose where the sound starts, and the random, while the random is up, it will allow the sound to start wherever it wants within this yellow highlighted section. For a sound like this, I'm happy to leave that as it is, unless I run into any phasing issues later on when I'm adding more, using it in a track. For now it's fine. If I was creating a bass, I'd probably be having the random on 0, and I'd be choosing the phase to resolve any phasing issues I'd be having with either the oscillator B or any other sounds in the track. So we're going to change the wavetable position. So the wavetable is here, and as you move this, it cycles through each different wave in the table, and as you do that, it'll change the sound. So about 26 is fine, just over a quarter. The warp we're going to leave off. We're going to use warp on B. I'll show you that in a second. So level is about fine on, pump it up a little bit, 79, that should be okay. About 3/4, just below 3/4. So we're going to add oscillator B now. For oscillator B, we're going to choose analog and analog BD sine. So we'll switch oscillator A off while we work on B using this button at the top. And we're going to add some unison to this too. I'm just going to use 3 on this. The reason I'm going for odd numbers is because on the even numbers we've got a more detuned center, we don't have anything that's bang on the pitch, and for this sound I want something on both, you know, that's bang in the center with the added tones on either side. So for this we're just going to use a 3, and we're going to have some detune, not loads, about 10, 11, 10's fine. Blend we're going to bring down, so we've got a bit of the effect but not too much. That's okay on 46. Again, phase and random we're going to leave. Wavetable position we're going to cycle through. As you can hear near the top end, it has quite a few new harmonics, quite a few new frequencies. What we're going to do is leave it quite high on this, maybe about 240, 239 that'll do. And then for the warp, we're going to choose Bend Plus. What Bend does is, I'll switch on Bend Plus and Minus to show you this. If you put it in the center, when you're on the plus and minus setting, that's unaffected, so the wavetable is unaffected. When you move into the minus, you can hear how it affects the sound. What it basically does is it squashes the wave in the middle and it stretches the start and the end. And basically the opposite with the plus. It stretches the middle and it squashes the ends. And for this one I wanted to use, I was just going to push it into the plus anyway, so to make things easier when we add an LFO, I've just put it on Bend Plus. And I like it just about 40, yeah, just below half, like that. But as I said about the LFO, what we're going to do is modulate this. So I'm going to bring this down to 0, and we're going to start setting up LFO 1. Change that so it's just a nice slope, steady slope. We're going to switch trigger on. What trigger does, if you highlight this, if you highlight trigger, it should come up with a description there and it'll tell you what it does. Trigger basically enables this to start when the note is triggered. If you switch it off, it'll just play, it'll just repeat over and over again regardless of a note being played. We want this to start on the start of the note, so what we're going to do is choose trigger. And for this sound, I've got a chord playing over each bar, apart from this last bit. So I want it to evolve to modulate over a bar, so we change this rate to a bar. Then what we're going to do is drag the LFO by clicking this in the top corner and dragging it to Bend Plus. And we're going to modulate it. Click in this headphone section with the up and down arrow, drag it down to just under a half, about 46. And then when I play the sound, you can see it's modulating the bend, and it's just adding a little bit as the sound evolves. So the volume, we're going to push up a little bit. About 81, that's fine, 80, about 3/4. Now, what we're going to do is add the filter, and we're not going to do a lot with the filter. We'll switch it on at the top here, and there's a lot of settings, a lot of presets in there, which we probably will use in future videos, but for this one, we're just going to leave it on what it's on, MG low 12. And we're going to switch on oscillator B as well as A that is already selected. And all we're going to do with this is roll off some of the high end. So I want to push this cutoff up, as you can hear it cutting out the sound there. So I want this quite high. Oh, sorry. I'll switch oscillator A on. There we go. So about 7, 8, 10, that's fine. Resolution we can leave about what it's on, 10% there. That should be fine. and we're not going to do anything else with this filter. That's fine as it is. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the envelope. Now the envelopes can be used in a similar way to the LFOs, but envelope 1 is what basically controls the sound, just as standard. So what we want is quite a long attack on this. So if I change the attack, you can hear the sound takes a lot longer to come in. So I want this about 1.8, 1.86, that'd be fine. We're gonna bring the decay down to about 150 milliseconds. And we're going to bring the release up. The release, what that does is just controls how long the sound plays for after the note has stopped being triggered. So if I hold a note on the keyboard and then let go, you can see it fades out with quite a long release. If I shorten that, we're going to have it about around about 110, 108, that'll do. You can see it's quite sharp in finishing, but it still rolls off a little bit. Okay, so that's it for this first page. What we're going to do is move on to the FX page. And in here we're not going to do loads, but we're just going to add a little bit of distortion, a compressor and some EQ. So starting off with the distortion, we're going to choose the rectify option. And this will really destroy the sound, but what we're going to do is use it sparingly to just enhance the sound. So first of all, what I'm going to do is just play it quickly to show you. So you can see it's not a very nice sound at the moment. Might be useful for something, not for this. So I'm going to roll the mix off. So we're just using a bit. As you can hear, it's adding to it. It's still a little bit of an ugly sound, but we're going to get there. So drive, we're going to take the drive down a little bit. About there, about 14%, that's fine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use the LFO again to modulate the mix. So we're going to bring the mix down about 32, that's fine, and we're going to drag the LFO again over to the mix, and we're going to tweak this. We don't want to go into the full 100% because we know it ruins the sound, so it doesn't sound very nice towards the end of the note, towards the end of the chord. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this headphone and we're going to drag it down. So there, that's about okay. We've got 25 there, that sounds okay. It doesn't add too much of it in, just enough to enhance the sound a little bit. So next we're going to add a compressor, and we're going to switch on multiband here just below the meter. And let's have a quick listen. So we're going to bring the threshold down. About minus 9.9, minus 10, that's fine. We're going to push the ratio up to about 10 to 1. That's 10:1, not 10 to 1 as in a clock. Otherwise you'll have the wrong setting. And we're going to pretty much leave it there. I'll bring the attack down a bit to about 70, that's fine. The attack and release just change how quickly the sound is affected by the compressor and stops being affected by it. So that's fine. And the last thing we're going to do is add the EQ. So first of all, we want to cut off some low end. So we're going to choose the low cut option here. About 175, that's fine, 175 Hz. And we're going to adjust the Q a little bit. Just take it down a little bit. About 53, that'll be fine. Just pushed it up to 54. Probably doesn't make that much difference. So for the second EQ, we are going to use the shelf, which is already selected. And we're just going to cut a little bit more of that high end. So let's just bring the gain down a little bit, a couple of dB, minus 1.9. And about 3.3 kilohertz, 3000 hertz, 3397, that should do. The Q we're going to put on about just below half, 46, 47. I'm going to bring the gain down a little bit more. About -3, -2.9, that'll do. And what you can do with this, you can just keep building on it, or you can tweak it however you like. I'm hoping that with Sound Design Sunday, I'm not just teaching you presets, I'm teaching you a little bit about what the VSTs do, in this case Serum, and that you'll be able to take away some information from it and be able to create your own sounds. So that's the preset created, and also the end of Sound Design Sunday episode 1. We'll be back next Sunday with another episode. In the meantime, I'll be continuing my hip hop and trap instrumental tutorial series, and I'll be trying to upload a couple of beats in between. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate the support. I'll see you next time.